So that's an example of a common shape for melody, but now let's take a look at the chords. Now, as a beginner, before I learned to play music by ear, I was very intimidated by chords. I thought that we could have any of all these chords in a chord progression. I thought that to play songs by ear, I'd have to figure out how to distinguish between all 12 major chords, all 12 minor chords, and all 12 of every other type of chord. However, most music is diatonic, which means it's within one key, and I'd say about 95% of music is diatonic. And when you build chords within these 7 notes, you can only create 7 different chords. Basically, a different chord built from each note in the scale. You get C minor, D diminished, E flat major, F minor, G minor, A flat major, B flat major, and C minor. Now, of these 7 chords, there's one chord which gets hardly ever used. Which chord do you think it will be? That's right. This diminished chord is very rarely, actually virtually never used. So for now, you can just forget about this chord. It's very rarely used. So that leaves us with just 6 chords. 3 of these chords are minor chords: C minor, F minor, and G minor, which are the 1, 4, and 5 chords of the minor scale. And then we have 3 major chords, which are E flat major, A flat major, and B flat major, which are the 1, 4, and 5 of the relative major scale, which is E flat major. So this is how we can play all major music within the key of C minor. We just shift it up to start from E flat major scale, and suddenly we can play all of our major music within the same key as our minor music. So whether the song is major or minor, it's going to be using these 6 chords. And to learn to play diatonic music by ear, you only have to learn to distinguish between these 6 chords. So we know that there are only 6 chords within our key. However, we can then go one step further and start learning common shapes for chord progressions. Now in this lesson, I want to focus on one common shape, which is this. Starts on a C minor chord. And before I tell you what the common shape is, I just want you to have a guess at what the following chords are. So this is a C minor chord within our key, the minor 1 chord, and here is the common shape. Well, let me tell you the secret to transcribing chords by ear. To transcribe the chords, you have to transcribe the bass line, because the bass line virtually always plays the root of the chord above. That means if the chord is a C minor chord, then which note is going to be in the bass? That's correct. C. If there is an F minor chord, which note will be in the bass? That's correct. F. Or we can do the other way around. If there's an E flat in the bass, which chord are we hearing above within our key of C minor? That's correct. An E flat in the bass would mean E flat major is the chord above. Now I know that there are people yelling at the screen right now about chord inversion. Chord inversion is the idea that chords can be played over the root, or the third, or the fifth, or other chordal tones. So you can basically turn these chords upside down. And a C minor chord could be voiced like this, with E flat in the bass. And although if you study ear training at university or music college, there'll be plenty of time dedicated to hearing chords in inversion. Although you'll probably learn that at music college, the truth is that chord inversion is virtually never used. In fact, 99.9% of chords are played in root position, which means the bass line plays the root of the chord above. And there's all sorts of reasons for this. Basically, chords sound their strongest in root position. Ideally, a composer wants to play the root of the chord above. And for that reason, it means that to transcribe a chord progression, you can just listen to the bass note. So, back to our common shape. First chord is C minor. So that tells us what the bass note is. That's right, it's a C. So now I just want you to listen to the bass line, ignore the chords above. C. Can you hear that it's just going down in steps? And within our C minor scale, we know that a note below C is going to be B flat. We know that it's not going to be B natural or A natural because those notes aren't within our key. C, B flat. And then we know that this note is going to be A flat because it's a note below B flat. And it's not going to be A natural or anything outside our key. And then we have a repeated note. So our bass notes are C, B flat, A flat, B flat. What are the chords above those bass notes? Above C, we know we have C minor. But how about B flat? Is that going to be a B flat minor chord? No, because that's not within our key. Within our key, the B flat chord is a B flat major chord. And then how about the A flat? Is it going to be A flat minor? No, because that's not within our key. Is it going to be A flat diminished? No, because that's not within our key. The A flat chord within our key of C minor is going to be A flat major. And then when the B flat plays again, is this chord going to, for some reason, change? No, it's still going to be B flat major. So that's our common shape for chords. C minor, B flat major, A flat major, and B flat major within our key of C minor. So this is a common shape for chords, and the telltale sign of this common shape is when you hear a bass line go down or up in 2 whole steps. If you hear 2 whole steps in a row in a bass line, then it's pretty much guaranteed to be these 3 chords. Sometimes you'll hear it descending. Other times you'll hear it ascending, and other times you'll hear it going both ways. Now, if you'd like to go more in depth into ear training, I'd like to invite you to sign up for my free video series on ear training. And in this series, I'll show you how my fixed key learning method works. So I'll show you how to line up songs in the same key so that you can spot the recurring shapes and chord progressions. And we'll look at interval recognition, and I'll show you the 6 priority intervals that you have to learn to play most songs by ear. So you can sign up for free at themusicalear.com or just click on the link in the description.